There are measures. Now, as far as what kind of measures, I'm not really sure. Okay. 2 more questions? Yes, sir.
What do you think the prime motivating factor for P.A., Abbas, and others you spoke of to put forth this bid for Palestine?
Well, it's basically what my friend Amal Wahdan, who's in Ramallah, said. Excuse me? He's asking what is their motivation? What is the PA's motivation for this UN bid? I think he's basically trying to clear his name, in my opinion, to look good. But as Amal put it, she put it in a better context. He's basically trying to delay negotiations. Like I said, they're part of the occupation. Make no mistake about it. They do not represent us. People who represented us don't carry arms against us. They don't quell our peaceful protests in Ramallah. Those are not our representatives. Okay? When you go to Ramallah, and Amal of all people would know this, when the Israelis come in with their troops into the Ramallah area, the PA, the Palestinian Authority, withdraws. They have to lay down their weapons and go away because the Israelis are coming in. What kind of state is that? That's what I'm saying. It's a fallacy. It's what it is. A state has a military. A state can defend itself.
Not every state has a military. There's 3 to go.
Okay.
What we're doing is we have one more question, and then we can do a little bit of follow-up.
Yeah, we're going to have a discussion, question and answer. From my understanding, Don said 3 questions. So one more question before I give it back to Amal or a discussion. Anybody else? Okay, thank you very much. And Amal, back to you in a moment.
Okay, thank you.
We are lucky to have Motassem Al-Bitar to speak to us a little bit about when he went to Cairo recently, and he was part of this Arab Spring, and his brother was part of it, who lives in Cairo, I believe. But Amal, why don't you make your comment? You've been saving it up for a few minutes.
Yes, just some comments and some clarifications here. First of all, I want to clear this fact, and it's a comment about what Jeff said about the P.L.O. The P.L.O. excludes several organizations. Among them are Hamas, Jihad, and the Popular Front General Command. Minor organizations who are based in Syria. And this is on one stage, and this is actually one of the main reasons behind the split between the West Bank and Gaza, between Hamas and the PA. It's because they were asking for amendments, for reforming the P.L.O. And the reform request has been going on for decades now, for 3 decades. The Palestinians have been asking for this reform, and it's not coming along, and it's not being realized up until now. That's why I'm saying this P.L.O. leadership and this PA is hijacking the Palestinians' rights and the Palestinians' cause, and they're doing it on their own without going back to their people. They are not a real representative of the people. There has been no elections for the PNC, the Palestinian National Council. There has been no elections for the Executive Council, for the Central Council. So, and Abbas himself should be out of his post now, because it's not valid any longer. It's not. He shouldn't be running his job, his office now. He should be out. That's one comment. The other one is the real danger here about having a Palestinian state over the 1967 borders is making it official for Israel to be part of this world, the state of the Zionist colonial entity being recognized by the countries, the Arab world here, being a normal part. And this is at the expense of the refugees, 7 million people who are living in exile now. in refugee camps. So this will open the door for normalization. What happened after Oslo Accords, it opened the door for more bilateral agreements with Jordan. They had the Araba agreement, and it opened the door gradually towards normalization of relations, like with the Gulf states, with the United Arab Emirates, with Qatar. Now, when we have a state based on this bed, UN bed, this means that Israel can be, as any other state here, fully recognized, while its own existence is based on the miseries and sufferings of the Palestinians. There is another comment here about Godwin Gill. He was not asked. This is from internal sources of the P.L.O. Godwin Gill was not asked by the P.L.O. He was asked by international law professors, Palestinian international law professors based in London, to put his opinion, and that's why you will read on his paper opinion regarding the Palestinian Liberation Organization, the future state of Palestine, and the question of the popular representation. He had this opinion. He was not asked by the P.L.O. Actually, the P.L.O. shut off all international law professors who had different opinion than theirs. Now, regarding international law, human rights, laws, and Geneva Convention, the P.L.O. Convention of 1964 and 1968, all these are packing our rights to self-determination, the rights of the refugees to return to their homes. All these laws that are put there are not executed, are not worked. Why? We have to ask this question. Why isn't all these resolutions executed? Why is it that the superpower, the Western power, headed by the U.S., can do whatever they want with the UN resolutions, but not towards the Palestinians? Why they could come out with a state south of Sudan? They partitioned Sudan. They divided Sudan. They took South Sudan from the mother state and put a state within. It was worked within months, just like this. Why wouldn't we have a state of our own? And now, when I'm talking about a state, I'm talking about a one state. Jewishness is a religion, and it's not a race, and it's not a nation. Jewishness is a religion, just like Islam in Malaysia, just like Islam in Indonesia. These people of Indonesia and Malaysia cannot come to Jerusalem and acquiring a land here just based on their religion. That's why I'm saying that the one-state argument, the one-state solution is best for all, but it's best for those who were forced out of their homes, out of their country in 1947, 1948, and 1967. I cannot believe that there are any more clarified rules and laws than those that were adopted by the General Assembly of the UN and the Security Council of the UN. Why aren't these resolutions implemented? It's simple, because there are powers there, superpowers, the big corporations. They do not want a state for the Palestinians, and they want us like the Indians, the reservations.
Amal.
Yes.
Thank you, Amal. Thank you very much. We're going to thank you. Jeff, is Jeff here? We're going to give Jeff a chance to respond. But I also want to get Motassim up here. And I know we got a lot going on, but this is important too, and we did invite Motassim to speak. But do people have more questions about this issue? Let's bring Motassim up. Let him tell us a little bit about Egypt and Cairo, and then we'll get back to Jeff if Jeff comes back in. You want to hear Motassim, Amal? Stick around here for a minute.